Okay, today we'll be looking at accountability in leadership. I define accountability as an act of a leader presenting himself or herself for examination and evaluation by the people based on the standard, principles, and value that govern the leadership system of the people. Accountability, I do say that it is synonymous to good leadership because it is unlikely to see a society or a group or organization where there is accountability, there will be no good leadership. Simply because when the leaders come to know that a day comes when they will appear for examination, evaluation based on a standard and principle values that govern the leadership system or where they have been choosing to lead. They become conscious of their conduct, conscious of their action and decision and inactions while they are in office. But in a situation or in a society or environment where there is no accountability, leaders become rascal. You see rascality, order of the day, corruption, perversion of justice, order of the day. In a place, whether organization or whichever, where there is accountability, you will see that leaders would strive to make sure they live a life of integrity, the transparency, honesty, sincerity, prudence while they're in office, knowing that a day comes when they will present themselves for examination, evaluation based on a conduct, based on a standard, value, and a principle. And in any society or in any organization where there is accountability, there is always a reward system that will reward leaders for their conduct and actions while they're in office. And this reward can bring good reward or bad reward. And when leaders are conscious of this fact, it puts them on their toes to do the right things. But in a place where there is no such thing in accountability principles entrenched into the leadership system, leaders at all travels, they behave as if they are not human beings. And that's what you see in Nigeria, because we're in a society where there is no accountability principle entrenched in our system. And you can see rogues, criminals, corrupt people finding themselves in the space of leadership where they occupy leadership position and they will deliver good leadership because there is no accountability. A day will never come when they will appear for examination and evaluation in line with the standard, guideline, principles, and value established that governs the leadership system. Accountability, very, very important in any leadership, in any society that will survive, in any organization that will survive, in any group that will survive. Accountability is non-negotiable. In a society where there's accountability, leaders understand that there are three levels of accountability they must undergo. The first one is the one I call self-accountability. This is a situation where leaders set a standard for themselves that guide their conduct and their action. They have self-principles and values that guide them, knowing fully well that if they do not have it, that guide them on a daily basis, they may not live their life and they conduct their life in the manner that will, when they present themselves for examination, they will not be found wanting. So they have what is called self-principles and value that guide their conduct. So they make sure that on a daily basis, they live their life in line with this conduct, in line with their principles and personal values. Now, this also, they encourage those around them to tell them what they need to know, not what they want to hear, to make sure that on a daily basis, their conduct is proper. Now, this now take to the next level. The level, I call this next level, the level of people's what? People's accountability, where leaders present themselves before the people for examination. Now, this is a level where reward comes. Now, there is always an institution, a group. If you go like organization, you have what is called director of board of directors or trustees who examine organizational leaders based on the standard of that organization. And if they are found wanting, they will be punished. There is a consequence for them. And if in a society, like in a country or in a nation, now there is also a body that will also examine leaders, and leaders being knowing the fact that the day comes for such examination, they will be very, very conscious of their actions. But in a society where all these are not obtainable, it will be very difficult to have a decent society. You would rather have insanity society in a situation where there is no accountability. Accountability is such important that in every society, they must make a progress. It must be entrenched into their system. Accountability. So the next level is what I call a divine accountability. This is the level that leaders are conscious that after they have passed these two processes, there is ultimate judge that will judge them. Now, and you know, when there is no accountability entrenched in the system that regulate their action and their conduct, they may not even bother about there is what, about the last level of accountability, which is divine accountability. If a nation must make progress, accountability must be in place, because accountability determines the rate of integrity, transparency, honesty, sincerity, prudence, and all other social values that guide the conduct of people in that society. Neglect accountability, allow the society to reign. Entrench accountability, you produce a society that is full of sanctity, a society that is full of